3 weeks, over 16,500 miles covered, and more than 12 billion hours of footage. Manila, Manalan, Makati, Boracay, Hong Kong, Subic Bay, and a few more along the way. So, let's start with the most obvious choice. San Francisco. Wanting to prepare myself for the unique culinary tastes of the Philippines, I first decided to visit the airport food court, where I eventually ordered an authentic traditional Filipino dish, French fries. As good as this unique meal was, it couldn't distract from the sad fact that our flight was delayed. Eventually, we boarded our 14-hour flight to Manila, which of course meant a high-speed travel montage. Accounting for the local time difference, we arrived approximately 3.5 weeks later, or something. Unfortunately, coming in at around 4 o'clock in the morning, it was a little too dark to actually see anything. But then, the sun came up. We were in the Philippines. We spent the next few days traveling in between cities, visiting family. And it wasn't long before we drove past what I thought was one of the greatest signs ever made. And a few miles down the road, it wasn't long before we drove past what I thought was the world's second greatest sign ever made. Nips. A few days later, and a couple of cities away, we somehow found ourselves at everyone's favorite family-friendly event, a cockfight. Apparently, they're pretty popular around here on the weekends. You can actually hear the roar of bets being placed from all over town, which is what drew us in there in the first place. I bet on the brown one, which died. So we decided to leave. The next morning, we made our way to Ninoy Aquino International Airport in Manila. Two and a half hours later, and only about 40-something miles away, we were in. In a few hours' time, we would be on Boracay Island, one of the most popular tourist destinations in the Philippines, and supposedly with one of the greatest beaches in the world. But first, we had to hop on a shuttle bus, which brought us to the middle of the runway, next to a small propeller aircraft. So then we boarded, which of course called for a travel montage. It was kind of a short flight, but here we were. Boracay, Kalibo. So then, we hopped on a bus. 2.5 hours later, we were here. Boracay, Caticlan. So then, we went on a ferry. Finally, we were here. Boracay, in a van. Finally, we were here. Boracay. Later that day, we decided to go shopping. After examining the wide array of beads, wood carvings, necklaces, model ships, crocodile skulls, and other things I wouldn't buy, it was nighttime. Food, food, and more food seemed to be a popular theme. Having already eaten, we went to a place called D Mall, where there was more food and a Ferris wheel. So, we decided to explore, and eventually wound up in an alleyway, where we found food. Fruits, to be exact. So we bought some, and decided to head back. And then,
Sir, try massage.
I got distracted.
Massage now, sir. Try now.
I didn't try now. Good thing, too, because back at the hotel, I heard drumming. So I grabbed my camera and ran out front, where there was some sort of loud festival marching band thing going on. But it was too dark to actually see anything. Fortunately, they came back the next morning. Turns out, this was all part of something called the Ati-Atihan Festival, which happens once a year in January, and celebrates, among other things, the baby Jesus. Supposedly, the main celebration is a few towns away, and is often referred to as the Filipino Mardi Gras. Nevertheless, I wasn't too disappointed by this local beachfront version. There, we saw lizard men, and a butterfly person, and a tribal Jesus man. There was even a fake Santa Claus. And then, there was this guy, who snuck past and put paint on my face, which somehow made the locals come and swarm around my camera. The seemingly endless procession of drummers and baby Jesuses continued through the day, which served as a memorable way to end our journey in Boracay.